Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real with Jon Lopez. Today, we have the pleasure of interviewing Gene and Jay at Level Up with Gene and Jay podcast. And so we're just going to jump right in and we're going to find out everything about the Level Up podcast. So when did you start the podcast? What inspired it? And what's it about?
So what has it been, about 2 years, Jay?
I want to say it's been two summers. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 summers ago. Well, I was in between homes, me and my family. So I stayed here for the summer and I came to Jay because he had all this equipment and said, "Hey, Jay, do you want to start up a podcast?" He said, "Done." Right?
Yeah.
Just that simple, that easy.
Done.
Yeah. Well, I did, like we talked about before the interview, I did a lot of video production. Went to school for Minnesota School of Business, college for digital video and audio production. So I already had like a good plethora of different kinds of equipment and stuff. So Gene always knew that, you know what I mean? Like, and also did music. So he knew I had mics. And one day we were just chilling and he was like, you started really getting into podcasts and stuff. And you were like, bro, like, would it be dope if you and I just did a podcast? And yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like,
started off in the garage, man.
Yeah.
Real okie doke.
Yeah. We went and bought, what was those? So these, the big curtains you see back here, those were the originals we had from the original studio that was set up in the garage. Mm-hmm. And we had 3 of them. So it was basically kind of like blocked off. And it was just all black background to black out like all the stuff we had in our garage, which really, I mean, for the first couple episodes, it looked pretty good. You know what I mean? For 2 guys in the garage, not fully knowing what we were going to do right away.
But besides just like, hey, we just want to start a podcast. I mean, was there like, an inspiration or was there like an idea behind, right away what you guys wanted to put out there?
Well, we knew that we wanted to level up in life and help other people, you know what I mean? And we wanted to be a podcast that was helpful, like bringing some kind of value to others and to ourselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the premise.
Yeah, I agree. And I know that, with everything that happened around 2020, affected everybody, obviously, and especially people of color. And being that, who we were, we just felt like we wanted to do something more, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I know Gene felt very passionate about what was going on. He's seeing the news and just like, there's not enough of people that look like us out there really trying to make a difference or providing platforms for people to speak on.
Right. Because there's so many people that have their sports podcasts and their music podcasts, and we wanted to do something different, what I mean? That was actually going to be helpful.
Yeah, and at the time, we didn't even have a niche.
No niche, and now we're kind of turning it to a mental health podcast.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's kind of
mental
our niche.
Health, media-based, yep.
Mm-hmm. And what's the ultimate goal with the podcast? Is it to get an audience to, listen and open up their minds to a different perspective or?
Well, it started with giving us something to do away from the wives. We go have a couple beers in the garage and be like, "Hey, we're having a podcast, so it's all right that we're drinking at 2:30 on a Sunday." You know what I'm saying? Like, but it did. It started with us just wanting to have those kind of fun conversations, intriguing conversations, and then guests started popping up. We started seeing like, okay. All of a sudden, we went from just 2 guys just talking about life and giving our opinions to sharing other people's opinions to all of a sudden it started to grow into something more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of why, I felt that this was such a special thing that you guys are doing. And the stories that I see when I look at your interviews in your episodes, it seems like you really want to bring empathy out in people and share these stories that are going to, make an impact in our lives and ultimately come together so that we can change the world that we live in.
Right. And
well said.
Well said. We want to bring people together, man. There's so many organizations out here and they're all like working on their own. Mm-hmm. We'd be so much better if we, all these organizations started working together. And as far as the ultimate goal is like, we would like to get monetized, and be able to get paid just to bring like this wonderful podcast and just to talk to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Build more of a following, get bigger of a platform. And the more bigger we get, the more people we have, the more stories that we'll be able to share with others. And kind of really love what you said. It's really like, especially some of the, interviews we've had, like KG Wilson, Marsha Mays, and, LaDavion's grandmother and all them was so hard for us to really have them on the show because we were taking in so much of their emotion, and seeing them in person was one thing, but hearing their pain in the way they spoke just really impacted us in so many ways. And those of people that would reach out to us even after those interviews were just like, I'm just so glad you gave such and such this platform to speak on. It means the world to me that, when I watch the news, you got one person who's, in a clip for 30 seconds, and that's all you gave that person for something so important. And here on LUPWGJ, we provide people with at least an hour to talk about, not just about what they're being affected in or being affected by, but who are they, who are their family, and give them a chance to tell their real story. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, and so what, it's morphed into this bigger thing, right? And so what are the impacts that you've seen the podcast make? Not just for you guys, but for the community as well. Have you seen it kind of cultivate some change and impact?
What are your thoughts on that, Jay?
Well, the benefit is right now is that, Gene's based in Minneapolis. I'm here in St. Louis Park. So we're able to kind of see both those sides. We've had a lot of people that already know us in St. Louis Park that give us those props like, dude, we love what y'all have been doing for the cities. And then for Gene, such a boots on the ground guy back in Minneapolis, and have you been running into people? You said there's some people run into you, said they saw the podcast, heard the podcast, and
yeah, I've been to some bars, man, CC Club. I was taking a piss, man. This guy was taking a piss. He's like, "Are you Gene or Jay?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I seen your podcast." But so many people tell us
toilet testimonies.
So many people tell us like KG said, like we're God sent. He thinks like we're going to do big things with this podcast. And a lot of people are thankful that we have it. It's helped me personally, like just being able to conversate, man. I think it's so important because like we're losing conversation with social media, texting, like people don't conversate, man. And I'm bad at communication and I'm starting to get better at it. You know what I mean? So like that's personally.
Yeah, I agree. And like, even when we went, say, like when I went to LaDavion's party where they celebrated, being able to get the mobility van, and the folks that we met down there when I was there, there were people I don't know that were just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for having, our family on the show. It means the world to us that you provided a platform for my family, because again, people have to really go out of their way just to get a little bit of screen time anywhere. You know what I mean? And when we're living in a day and age where you can have your own phones and do it yourself, but they don't know how to do it. They don't know where to start or what kind of audience they want to reach. So that really, again, pulls Gene and I in where we're able to provide them with that we're basically middleman from, the community and the issues that the communities face, and we also have other communities that we're just kind of bringing everybody together, as much as we can. Would you agree?
I totally agree. Couldn't have said it better, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And again, this is one of the reasons why I want to showcase you guys on Keeping It Real with Jon Lopez. Because in my own experience, going through the immigration journey that I went through, I've touched a lot of people that just are ignorant to what an immigration process is like. And until you actually sit down and tell a story and it gets, to where, the empathy is there and you're actually listening to the conviction and listening to the voice and listening to it shake and listening to the passion, it makes a difference. And it's not like you're trying to change people's perspective or political views, right? You just want them to understand and see a different perspective so that can change maybe a little bit of just the opinion, you know, and just come at it with love, right?
No one's trying to control narratives here. You know what I mean? It's raw and real.
Yeah. And so that's why I want to get as many eyes on you guys as possible, because I think that these conversations are important, especially with what we have going on in the Twin Cities after 2020.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you guys for having me. So, you know, and I know every single story is impactful, right? But what's one that just like really stands out? Like the one that you like least lose sleep over, you know?
I mean, I would say just KG Wilson and Anaya Allen. I think because the case is still open, it hasn't been solved yet. And just the impact it's had still on the community, still on that family, and just the no justice it just hurts, you know, and we're not even related to them, but it hurts. You could hear it in KG's voice. You could, when we went down for his, you know, his granddaughter's 2 years we did, right? We did the first and second year anniversary for Anaya, and we were able to meet a lot of family members there. And oh my God, I mean, just the love and like respect we even get. And, you know, we didn't even think we deserved that. We're just two guys with cameras just trying to help share a story. But like the way they treated us was so just meaningful to us. You know, they made sure that we had leeway and like cleared the way for us to make sure we got the shots. And it's just hard when you see those families and the fact that they're still meeting. Another anniversary year goes by, still no justice. And to me, that just is heartbreaking.
Yeah, and for people that don't know, like KG Wilson is a activist of 20 years, a peace activist, national.
Shout out to KG.
And imagine, like, he's been doing this for almost 20 years, trying to solve other kids' murders and like crimes that are going on in the north side. And then his own granddaughter got shot while eating a Happy Meal in the backseat of her mom's car.
From a stray bullet, right?
A stray bullet.
Yeah.
And it's,
man,
I think another, another part of that too is just, well, I do respect a lot of KG is that he's not only going after like a crooked justice system, but he's also going after like the communities themselves. Like people are not doing enough. The communities are not coming together enough. Gene spoke on that a lot. Change starts
from within, right? I mean, everything starts from within and then kind of goes out, right?
Exactly. Right. Gene speaks on how there's so many different organizations, and if they all just came together, you know, how much more of an impact they could make. And so it's hard to see KG kind of go through that sometimes too. And he's such a genuine guy. So I think that was probably one of our biggest, most impactful episodes we had. How long have you been doing this for?
This is our fourth episode that we're doing.
Hey, shout out to the fourth episode. Let's go.
Yeah, so you know, so my goal with keeping it real with Jon Lopez is not just to pump out a bunch of real estate and mortgage news and how-tos and wherefores and all that. I also want to support local businesses and showcase local businesses and people that are, you know, making an impact in our community, whether it's through business or volunteering or making a podcast.
Yeah, huge shout out to you for that. I mean, that's huge. That's just another avenue that people are going to have to be able to go to. Again, can they go to these news stations? Can they even go to radio stations? No, but I bet you money it can hit up Jon Lopez.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean? and more of us should be doing this, you know, because if we love Minnesota as much as we say we do, then we need to support every aspect of Minnesota, right? Even if you don't agree with the city council, whatever it is, right? Like we're all just Minnesota, right? We're all just a country, period.
And we all got a story.
Yeah.
When we first started, we didn't really have a niche. And then the more guests we started having on the show, the more we realized there is a center point of this. And it was mental health. No matter if we had Shout Out Loud, the Muwatas, KG Wilson, like everybody had an experience, a personal human experience that all kind of went back down to mental health. And mental health means the world to us because we both have been through so much. So talking about having you on the show, I mean, there is a lot of mental health in there just within immigration, the personal stories and stuff like that. And so I'd be really looking forward to having you on the show for sure.
I would love to, you guys. Thank you so much for the invitation. All right. Well, thanks again for giving me the opportunity to interview you guys and inviting us into your podcast studio and witnessing Marvina Haynes and her story and her passion and the way that she conveys. Super
Shout out
powerful.
to Marvina.
The energy in here is just like, you know, it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome. I love what you guys are doing. And then just let us know where we can find you, where we can, go online and see the podcast, the YouTube, the Facebook, all the things.
Yeah.
Where we
You're
at.
good with the handles, Jay.
I'm just kidding. No, y'all can find us on LUPWGJ, Level Up with Gene and Jay, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We are on pretty much every social media platform. But our main headquarters is based on Facebook, would you say, Gene, right? So that's where like a lot of our traffic comes through. So feel free to check us out again, LUPWGJ or Level Up with Gene and Jay on any of those platforms. We're also, for our listeners, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So
Yes, sir.
There you go, guys.
YouTube.
Hit them up and like and share. And go through the other websites and organizations that they are supporting if you want to be a part of the community and support financially or through volunteer work.
Yeah.
If you have a story to tell too, reach out to us. You know what I mean?
And just really quick to throw out too, like we just did our 24th episode. So there are 23 episodes out there, y'all, to take a look at. Even the older ones, there are still people that need help. So feel free to go back to a lot of our old ones. Take a look. Like we had Gilly Show, Freedom Academy, that's still taking donations on there. We still like brand new with Marvina and them. She's going to give us some information on what to do to help them. And then like always, with KG and LaDavion's family, they might need some help still too, you guys. So make sure you go back there, take a look at some of that old content and let us know if you want to help in any way. So.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Keeping It Real with Jon Lopez. We'll catch you next time.
Hey.
Peace.